Hey everyone, SweetJohnnyCage here, back with another guide for The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening on Nintendo Switch. This time I'm going to show you how to get all 32 heart pieces and one extra heart container. Some of these heart pieces are just out in the open in Koholint Island. Some of them are locked behind mini-games, some are locked behind the new chamber dungeons, and one of them is only accessible about halfway through one of the final dungeons of the game. So without further ado, let's get started. Keep in mind that for the most part, I'm going to show you how to get these heart pieces as they become available to you. That doesn't necessarily mean that this is the only order you can do it in, but that's the way I'm going to do it. For the first one, in May Village, once you get the sword, you can cut down the bushes on top of the well. Once you do that, jump into the well and claim the first heart piece. Next up is the Trendy Game. This game costs 10 rupees per play, and can be pretty tricky in this version of the game. 2 heart pieces in total were added to the Trendy Game, so once you win the first one, keep winning prizes and leaving and coming back, and eventually the second one will show up. Successfully getting items off the table or the conveyor belt in the Trendy Game is quite a hassle, because these items now have physics, unlike in the original Game Boy versions of the game, where once you latched onto an item, that was it. Items now have a chance of slipping out of the claw, and if I can give you one tip, it's that if the item slips out and winds up on the back side on the conveyor belt, just leave and come back and try again. Don't bother trying to get it off the conveyor belt, because the tables that are moving on that belt can also move the heart piece that is likely in the middle of them. That goes for any item in the Trendy Game. Just don't even bother. For me, the second heart piece was in the back right corner. So what I suggest doing is first move the claw all the way to the back, and then once the tables reach all the way to the right, that's when you want to rush the claw over there, just like this. And then, once it hits the right side, the claw will open, drop, and it will be timed perfectly and close on the heart as soon as it gets to the other side. Chances are, you'll have some pretty good luck with the physics if you use this method, and the heart piece won't escape. But again, if it does, just keep trying until you get it. You don't want to just come in here with 10 rupees, instead you probably want to bring 50 or 60 to keep trying. All told, both heart pieces cost me 80 rupees in this game. Another tip that I can give you is if you start running low on rupees, try to start winning them off the game. There will usually be a red or purple rupee on the stationary table. Once you get both pieces from the Trendy Game, head into the item shop where you can buy another heart piece for 200 rupees flat. This heart piece is available from the start of the game, however I wouldn't really recommend dumping your first 200 rupees on this piece of heart, as there's a lot more that you need to buy throughout the game. Next up is the fishing minigame. When you catch your first small fish, you'll be rewarded a piece of heart. The trick to this fishing game is that once a fish starts tugging against your line, stop mashing A. Let it get some distance, and then when it turns around, start mashing A again. If you use this method, you will never have a fish break loose. In addition to getting a piece of heart from a small fish, the first large fish that you catch will also grant you a piece of heart. If you're looking for how to catch either Old Baron, a blooper, or a Cheep Cheep, it's mostly the same. If Old Baron turns away from you, let go, and then mash A when he turns back around. With a blooper, it will start to swim up. You'll notice bubbles coming up from underneath it. That's when you want to let go and wait a second and then start reeling in. With Cheep Cheep, you have to be very careful because they can jump out of the water. If they jump out of the water and you're still pressing A, they will get loose. So watch their pattern, and when they start shooting up from the water, that is when you need to let go. There's also a bottle at the bottom of the pond. However, I recommend fishing as many fish as you can out of the pond before going after it, because the fish can prevent you from getting it. And with that small fishing tutorial out of the way, let's keep moving with the heart pieces. For number 7, this one is out in the open, just to the east of Mysterious Forest and in Koholint Prairie. You'll need the Roc's Feather to get it. For heart piece number 8, you want to head back into the Mysterious Forest, into this cave as I showed on the map. Once inside, you'll need to push some boulders out of the way in a certain order. Then, once they're out of the way, use the power bracelet to lift up these skulls and claim heart piece number 8. For number 9, exit May Village to the east and then head into this cave up here. Once inside, you'll have to move blocks just like you did for the previous heart piece. Be sure to kill these slimes first because they can deal damage to you as you're moving the blocks. In the bottom right corner, push this block to the right, push the next one down, and then lift up the skull and claim the heart piece. Heart piece 10 can be found in Pothole Field, so you'll need to access the basement of Richard's house in order to get over here. But in the top right corner, you'll find a piece of heart across a bunch of pits. The real way to do this is to use either bomb arrows or the magic rod to burn down the bushes. However, you can use the Roc's Feather and mash your sword slash as you're falling. You will take some damage because you're just going to fall into a pit, but it is possible to do this a lot earlier than intended. However, the real way is either bomb arrows or the magic rod. For heart piece number 11, head to Tabal Wasteland and go to the northeast corner of the Dead Forest. You'll find a piece of heart tucked behind a tree over some potholes. For number 12, warp to Akuku Prairie and then head slightly northeast. You'll see a bombable crack in the cliff face, so place a bomb there and then we're going to enter a cave. You'll need the Pegasus boots in order to get this heart piece. Once inside the cave, you want to dash through these crystals like you would any other. However, instead of following the path all the way, you want to find the cracked wall in the northeast corner. Place a bomb here, and then walk through to claim the next heart piece. For heart piece number 13, head down to Animal Village. Run all the way south, cut some bushes, head east, and then head north before where you wake up the walrus. Keep following along this path, and then eventually you'll be able to head west. Dash all the way, and you'll get a piece of heart. We'll come back to the other heart piece here in a little bit once we get the hook shot. For number 14, in Yarna Desert, fall into the hole where you fought the Land Mola. Alternatively, you can enter this through the exit, but it's just quicker to do this and you take no damage. Once you're in this cave, bomb the north wall, and behind it will be your next piece of heart. For number 15, you'll need the flippers. Warp to Tal Heights and then jump into the water. Swim into this cave and you'll see a piece of heart under the water. Press B to dive and you'll claim heart piece number 15. Heart piece number 16 can be reached from Tal Heights warp point as well, but it's a bit of a trek, so we're going to speed up the footage here. Take the big ladder all the way down and you'll be near Canalit Castle. Swim all the way around the moat, and eventually you'll see heart piece number 16 hiding under the water near the bridge. For heart piece 17, head to Martha's Bay just near Catfish's Maw. Again, this one is hidden underwater just south of the dungeon entrance. Heart piece number 18 can be found in an underground cavern south of Seashell Manor that connects Akuku Prairie with the Animal Village section of the map. Walk down the staircase here, and you'll find heart piece number 18 hidden underwater. Dive using the flippers to claim it. Heart piece number 19 can be found in Tal Mountain Range. This is a cave that you're going to be entering a lot as you complete the dungeons up here. Once inside this cave, you want to head across one screen to the east. You can do this without ever leaving the screen, but I just find my method a little bit easier. Walk down this staircase and then immediately walk back up so you're on the other side of the rocks and they reset. Push this rock to the south, this rock to the west, crush the crystal, and then claim heart piece number 19. Next up is heart piece number 20. Head back to Animal Village once you have the hook shot and bomb open this wall in the northeast corner that we skipped earlier. Once you're inside the cave, you'll see a couple of boulders that you can push into the pits. Do so, and then jump to the platform on the west side using the Roc's Feather. On the west side, head north, and then take out bomb arrows by combining the bow and arrow and the bombs, and then pull out the hook shot to zip yourself over. There's a heart piece on this platform. Claim it for number 20. For heart piece number 21, head back to the mysterious forest near Maeve Village. Now that we have the hook shot in tow, we can finally claim a piece of heart that has been eluding us since we had the power bracelet. Follow this path, lift up this rock, and head into the log. Once inside, you'll see a chest that contains 50 rupees that we claimed much earlier since we had the Roc's Feather, but now we can zip across these big pits using the hook shot. Claim this heart piece as number 21. For heart piece 22, head down to Martha's Bay near this big patch of bushes. You can take them out using bomb arrows or the magic rod, And additionally, you can also jump the potholes using Rock's Feather and then spam your sword slash as you're falling down. You will take out a bush or two, but you'll also fall and take damage, so it's a bit of a brute force method. Once you walk down the stairs into the underground cavern, jump into the pool with the piranha, and then you can find heart piece number 22 hidden underwater. For heart piece 23, head to the witch's hut and then lift up the rock just to the southwest. When you lift up this rock, you now want to head just southeast to the circle of rocks. You'll see a staircase there. Head down the staircase and you'll be in an underground cavern. Once in this underground cavern, use the Rock's Feather to jump a couple pits. You're going to need the hook shot for this, but optionally, you can also do it with just the Pegasus boots and the Rock's Feather, but I'll show you that method second. Bomb this breakable rock, and then take out the hook shot, and then zip over to this platform and jump to the next one using the Rock's Feather, but first you want to fall for good luck. Alternatively, you can just use the Pegasus boots and the Rock's Feather after you break the bombable rock. Stand at the very edge of the platform, start running, and jump immediately as you start charging. Heart pieces 24 and 25 can be found in the Telltale Heights region. Once there, equip the hookshot and zip over to this tree stump. This house on this little island houses the River Rapids minigame. In Link's Awakening on Switch, however, River Rapids has been split into two different minigames, Rapids Raid and Rapids Race. The first heart piece we're going to get is in Rapids Raid. Rapids Raid is a minigame where you can take your time, for the most part, getting all the items in the River Rapids. This is a really great way to farm rupees. It only costs 100 rupees to play, but you can easily net 150 plus rupees profit. So, once you are at the river with the raft, take out the hookshot and make sure you have the Rock's Feather equipped. Zip along this pathway to the very end of the waterfall. Once you fall down this waterfall, you want to hookshot onto these roots, and you want to make sure that you're heading south. Then, once you get in range of these roots here, hook yourself onto them. This is very difficult and will probably take you a few attempts. It took me 3 attempts to get. Getting yourself onto those roots at the end is pretty tough. For Heart Piece 25, we're now going to play Rapids Race, which is the other minigame in the River Rapids. The name of the game is reaching the bottom of the waterfall as quickly as possible. Should be pretty self-explanatory. Following the route that I'm showing you now will get you there in about under 35 seconds. Now, this is the only piece of heart that I'm a little shaky on how to get. The reason for that is because I didn't really understand the rules the first time I did it, but I wound up getting a piece of heart anyway. You'll need to do this race at least twice, or at least I did. The first time I beat it and I set myself a record, I got a secret seashell. And then I played it again and just narrowly beat my record and got a piece of heart. I did both of these times in under 35 seconds. It was actually 32 point something or other. So I'm not 100% sure if you have to beat it in under 35 seconds, if you have to beat it in under 40 seconds, or if there's any time constraint at all, or if you just have to beat your own record. But regardless, I did mine both in under 35 seconds, and I got a secret seashell, and then when I beat that record, I got a piece of heart. So, sorry that that's not super clear, but the rules aren't exactly clear either. For heart piece number 26, we can obtain this immediately after we get this piece of heart. You see the cave that the vendor is standing in front of? Well, all we have to do is go inside that cave with the hookshot. Let the raft take you over to the little island, walk inside the cave, and then swim past this pool. You would think that the heart piece is in there, judging by the others that have been hidden there, but it's not. Instead, hookshot onto these rocks, and then you'll get onto the platform that holds heart piece number 26. Heart piece 27 is back up in the Telltale mountain range. You can see this one pretty early on in the game, but you can't actually get it until pretty late in the game, just before you reach Eagle's Tower. From that cave, I'm going to show you the full route to take because it can get a little confusing with this system of caves that are in the mountain range, but dash on over, swim through this pool, and then head up the first ladder that you can. You want to then dash to the west, somehow bonk yourself into this cave. I don't know how that happened, but I thought it was funny, so I left it in. Exit the cave, then you want to head up the next ladder, or set of stairs, to the chicken coop. Now, you want to head west across this bridge. Using the hook shot, you can zip yourself across these boxes of rocks, I guess they are. I thought they were actually, might have been torches at some point, but they're boxes of rocks. And then you'll see a bush here with a staircase hidden underneath. Go down this staircase, jump over the ledge, Make sure to lift up this rock to defeat that enemy, and there's a hard to see bombable wall on the south wall here. So go ahead and bomb that, head into the next room, head east one room, and you will suddenly be where hard piece number 27 is. Go ahead and claim that for yourself. So we're going to stay right in this video cut, and we're going to go to hard piece number 28. I recommend going to this hard piece once you have the mirror shield, only because if you don't have it yet, you're going to have to come back here, and this is a pretty long trek to keep making. But in any event, head downstairs and then zip across using the hook shot attached to that rock, go across the pit, kill the 2 keys, and then head back outside. Now we are on the other side of the windfish's egg. From here, this is basically this game's version of Death Mountain with all the boulders falling on top of you. So go ahead and try to avoid them as best you can. I'm doing a pretty good job here, but unfortunately I'm about to get knocked off this ladder by a giant boulder. It's going to happen again, but 3rd time's a charm. We got it. Now we're going to head west. You can open this chest for 50 rupees in case you're wondering what's in there. And then once we get those rupees, we're going to walk across this bridge to the west. We're going to jump down. We're going to take care of some enemies here. Since we have the mirror shield, we're going to reflect that spear back at the Stalfos. And then we're going to run and claim heart piece number 28. For heart piece number 29, about halfway through level 8, Turtle Rock, you'll be sent outside to the very top of the mountain. You'll find this heart piece on top of a mini hill right here. If you're looking for a walkthrough for Turtle Rock, please check the video description for a link to my guide. For heart piece number 30, you need to collect at least 5 secret seashells. Any 5 will do. Once you obtain 5, you need to head to Seashell Mansion right underneath Canelet Castle. There's a warp point that was newly added to this version of the game. Once you're there, you want to head inside and walk up to the pedestal so the spirit of the mansion speaks to you. In the original version of the game, there were a total of 26 secret seashells, and once you found 20 and spoke to the spirit, the other 6 turned into rupees. In this version of the game, however, there's a total of 50, and the reward tiers are at 5, 15, 30, 40, and 50. 5 gets you a piece of heart, 15 gets you the seashell sensor, 30 gives you a chamber stone, 40 gives you the Koholint sword, and 50 gives you the rupee chamber modifier. So be sure to come back at every tier. You can also find my guide for all 50 secret seashell locations linked in the video description below. Heart pieces 31, 32, and the additional heart container are all found within the Chamber Dungeon minigame that was added to Link's Awakening on Switch. Unlike Link's Awakening DX, there is no longer a photo booth. Instead, we have Danpei's shack. Speaking to Danpei for the first time outside of his shack, he will invite you into his home, and he will begin to explain the Chamber Dungeons to you. In all, there are a total of 4 tiers of Chamber Dungeons. You get rewards from the first 3. I haven't yet completed the 4th, so I'm not really sure what's locked behind it. However, completing the first tier, noted by the 1 shovel, will give you the first heart piece, number 31. Completing the second tier will give you heart piece number 32, and completing the 3rd tier will give you a bonus full heart container. So that's how you get 31, 32, and the bonus heart container. If you do this, coupled with all the dungeons in the game, you will finish Link's Awakening on Switch with a total of 20 hearts. Unlike the original versions of the game, where there were only 14 hearts, in the Switch version, they added an additional 20 heart pieces and 1 bonus heart container. And that about does it. If you guys have any questions about any of this, please feel free to leave a comment, and I'll do my best to help you out. If you're looking for more guides for The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening on Switch, please subscribe to the channel so you get alerted when new videos go live. You can find me on Twitter, @SJCage, and you can also find me streaming on twitch.tv/SweetJohnnyCage every Tuesday and Thursday night, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. Alright, I'm SweetJohnnyCage. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.